For a first take, I think it went pretty well. We had things moving in real time, calling back to our main hub system, actively reporting on our mobile device. It was pretty good. And here we're seeing sort of a take two. We're going up a level. We're adding a device into the ecosystem, basically trying to see in what way, shape, or form can we communicate or add extra communication to our talks by having a simple watch device, which everybody's using. So today, we're not only taking a look at the nature of privacy, 3D printing, curation, and control, but we're also taking a stab at our own demo of open source technology. So couldn't think of a better place to talk to people about what they think, what motivates them, what got them to stand up, but also test some stuff out, see what people think. So let's check it out. All right, so today we're talking about AB 2047, and we're working on understanding what our motivation is, where we're coming from, and what we're looking for today, and what sort of the big picture value is. So introduce yourself and what you're all about, and tell me why you're here and what you're thinking.
Yeah, so my name's Finn. I'm from Southwest Washington. I work as an IT professional for a K-12 public school district. And I'm here to oppose AB 2047 after seeing Louis Rossman's video on it yesterday morning. It was very just impulsive. I decided, I've got the points on my credit card. I've got the time off work that I can use. I'm just gonna come down here and show up. Um, I have, for a long time now, I've been sort of very worried about the direction that we're headed as far as the privacy of our electronics goes, and just as a society, the sort of erosion of, the idea of privacy and ownership in general. Um, and so this presents to me as an opportunity to do something about it, and so I figured I really ought to show up.
I think that's fantastic. So, given that this is a topic of privacy, how do you think we get more people to be aware of how this is dangerous to our privacy and our sort of when we're creating, when we're building with 3D printers or when we're building whatever we can, why do we need to care about who is surveilling that at any given time? And why is this relevant, would you say?
Well, the difficult thing about privacy is that you don't need it until you do, right? So, I mean, you might say to yourself, I have nothing to hide. I don't care who has my data. But, someday down the road, that could change. And if you don't have the controls to be able to yank that back or to otherwise mitigate, the use of your personal data, then it might already be too late to do anything about it. So I think it's very important that we have this sort of protections in place from the get-go, so that we never end up in that situation down the road where we realize that it's too late. We've already let the genie out of the bottle, so to speak. Um,
From that, what motivation would you recommend for people that are not sure how to get involved in that way or care about that? Is there any resources that you use that have been beneficial, or how do you
so,
do it?
I mean, I tend to do a lot of the low-hanging fruit stuff. I use ad blockers. I've got a Pi-hole set up on my home network. I host my own local NAS, so I've got local storage for my backups of movies and games.
So you
and
try to
stuff.
keep the prying eyes away from you the best you can.
Yeah. But I mean, it's inevitable that doing that, that creates friction, and a lot of people are just not willing to deal with that friction. At least not while they're not seeing the direct effects of, sort of the encroachment on their privacy. I think that's the core issue, is that a lot of people have trouble conceptualizing like how bad this can get until it happens to them, and by then it might be too late.
Too little, too late. Hey, today we're talking about AB 2047 and how 3D printers are under the prying eye of our world, and how surveillance and having ownership of our tools are of utmost concern. Can you tell me about yourself and tell me what you're thinking, your motivations, and where you come from?
Well, open source is a huge part of what I do, and 3D printing with open source software and hardware is my hobby.
where did you first hear about this issue, and who's been sort of helping motivate your work as you learn more about it?
Right. So a lot of my awareness of this comes from the 3D printing nerd, as well as from Luis Rossmann.
Nice. What motivates you the most? Do you have anything, personal stories or feelings about privacy and how we're working through a new technology and how we manage it? Do you have any thoughts about that?
Oh, yep. Down some thoughts, but let's just kind of keep it casual. Well, the first off is that for 3D printing specifically, the open source hardware and software ecosystem is a huge part of this, right? And one of the aspects of this bill is that it would restrict access to the latest in 3D printing technology to the same open source researchers, educators, maker spaces that have made this technology what it is today. And on the other hand, who would be exempt from the strictest parts of this bill? It would be weapons manufacturers. They're the first exception listed. If you need a little soundbite about it, I mean, they make exceptions for Smith and Wesson, but not for science lessons. You know? And personally, I just find that unconscionable. It's like it's IP theft. It's like you're gentrifying the 3D printing technology away from the people who have made it what it is today.
What do you think is the best message for people who aren't accustomed or who aren't knowledgeable about the space, about the most important issue that is being discussed today?
Well, that's a good question. Let me think about it before I react to it. What I want to put forward is this idea that, you know, the open source and 3D printing space is about creation and collaboration, right? It's about like 3D printers are inherently constructive devices. They're not destructive devices. And what you're doing here is you're trying to control a constructive device under the guise of controlling destructive devices. And I don't think that's the way to go, especially because if you really believed in the power of some kind of technology to filter or control 3D printers, then you would get in touch. Then you could get in touch and collaborate and learn from the open source hardware and software community. Instead, what this does is it's putting this effort in an adversarial stance against the open source community, and I think that's counterproductive, regardless of noble intent.
Hey everybody, today we're here talking about AB 2047, all about 3D printers, privacy, and the use in the stage of creating parts for guns or other illicit materials. So today we're talking about how we think about that and what the motivation is and what to do about it. So tell me about yourself and your motivations.
Well, I am a engineering student and hoping to be a future mechanical engineer.
Sure.
And my motivation for being against this bill is because, obviously as a mechanical engineer, I very value manufacturing, and independent manufacturing has actually been the core driver of manufacturing in America for a while now. Even back in the golden days,
Sure.
it was a lot of independent manufacturing, but this bill kind of centralizes that, ability for people to create things and manufacture things, and that kind of destroys whatever remnants of like a growing manufacturing base that exists in America,
Okay.
and that's why I'm against it.
So I want to support the idea of maintaining independence so you can keep creating. Are the concerns that this bill has some sort of copyright or intellectual property infringement with that? The fact that they're able to look at the designs as they're passed through the cloud server and you can't independently make them free from the grid, so to speak? Is that where you stick the point of independent manufacturing mostly?
Well, that's definitely a big point. Obviously, infringing copyright would be a big issue with data leaks, or just in general, how can you really trust these companies, right? But other than that, also open source software basically is gonna get a huge like kneecap because of this bill. Because a lot of these software that are open source right now will be closed down, and it's gonna be much harder to share files as well because it could potentially be illegal, and that'll prevent people from sharing certain shapes. That'll slow down the design process, and in general, it'll just be worse off.
Hey, so today we're talking about AB 2047, which is all about privacy, 3D printers, and possible misuse of them and how that's controlled. Tell me about yourself, tell me why you're motivated, and why you think this is an important thing to pay attention to.
My name is Chris. I'm a sales associate for computers, and I am against this bill. I believe that it infringes on privacy, and I also believe that there's always going to be bad actors in everything ever. So, do we ban gasoline because somebody made napalm? Do we ban cars because that kills the most people? It really depends. Like, I'm sorry, I'm really bad at this.
No worries. What I wonder is when we talk about privacy and we want to care about how our works are either being surveilled or how anything that we create is surveilled, why do you think it's valuable to the common person understand why talking about this matters and discussing this is valuable?
Well, the main issue with going into a government server has to be the fact that servers can be compromised by bad actors. We've seen it before with Microsoft, Google, and a ton of other companies where people's social security address, every type of information is exposed. However, if it's in a closed loop ecosystem, it would just be on your network.
Sure. Now, I know this is a pertinent issue right now when we talk about, say, AI models and stuff like that. When we talk about people sending their data, sending their life stories, their therapy notes to this cloud model in San Francisco. Well, what if I want to have that be processed on my own machine, nobody peering into my world? What's the difference of peering into the world of your thoughts versus your 3D printing curations? Is it a matter of intellectual property, personal security? Does that make you feel any similar vibes, or how
Are you
how do
talking
you
about
interpret?
local AI models on
Yes,
computers?
say running on your own GPU instead of having to talk to the cloud when you're talking about something that's valuable and possibly a threat, whether it's your ideas or your intent through your model.
That's true. So the problem with like AI models is a ton of them are running on billions and billions of parameters that can only be processed on servers in San Francisco or Tennessee or wherever.
Yeah,
We do not have the technology as individuals in order to process that type of information, at least not without a massive cost like a 5090.
sure.
However, once that technology becomes more available, I do see more local AI starting to be more mainstream as people are concerned about privacy, and it could say something about you that is completely hallucinating.
Yes.
Like we saw that with Louis Rossman and saying that he's
His
sponsored by some type
Google.
of company. Yeah.
Yes, I saw that. Hey, Louis, could I introduce myself? Thank you so much. Excuse me. I am doing little interviews about how people feel about the AB 2047. Are you guys in that group? Standing in either approval or opposition? Could I ask you questions about how you feel in terms of the big picture idea? They're pretty surface level questions. They won't dig too far.
We're told not to. Okay. We're
Okay.
told to let our spokesperson.
Okay,
Sorry.
that
Thank
is
you.
fine.
Appreciate it.
Sounds good.
You're right.
Do you know? Are you in line to talk?
No, I'm not lying.
What are they talking about?
The 3D printing bill.
What your perspective is and where you're
That looks like it. Yeah, I might join in if topic. Give your 2 cents, but you're probably not going to be able to talk in there, you know.
Hey everybody,
We're actually going in.
we're right to get started. Good luck everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Do you know? Are you in line to talk?
No, I'm not lying.
What are they talking about?
The 3D printing bill.
What your perspective is and where you're
That looks like it. Yeah, I might join in if topic. Give your 2 cents, but you're probably not going to be able to talk in there, you know.
Hey everybody,
We're actually going in.
we're right to get started. Good luck everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Hey everybody, we're ready to get started. Good luck everybody.
Thank you, sir.
My name's Chase Anderson, Vallejo resident, embedded security developer and open source advocate. I oppose this bill.
Thank you.